unexpected deaths, dark magic, and an epic showdown between those that side with Dr. Silk and those that don't make this issue of Resurgence of the Valiant Universe one of the best comics I've read in a long time.
Got him! Got him!
Well, not by a long shot. Between cringy speeches, chaotic pacing, faith, and baffling plot twists, this issue has everything you don't want to see in a comic. Whether it's awful, bad, or so bad it's good, this creative team just felt the need to include it here. Alright comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Drops, your one-stop shop for the good, the bad, and the ugly in the world of comics. Today we're diving into the Resurgence of the Valiant Universe issue number 3, written by Fred Van Lente with art by Guillermo Fajardo and Julio Azamor. This comic tries to pack in action, intrigue, and big moments, but it often feels like it's being written by a caffeinated toddler with the attention span of a gnat. So what makes this issue of Resurgence of the Valiant Universe so bad? Why do all the other characters in this series still look at Faith as a legitimate superhero? And why has Master Dark just become one of my favorite villains in comic history? Stay tuned to find out. So we kick things off with General Capshaw in a flashback at Joint Base Lewis McChord, addressing the troops about GATE, the Global Agency for Threat Excision. Now, I'll admit, Capshaw's speech is something else for sure. She starts by saying GATE has existed in so many forms that even she's confused. I mean, when the characters themselves don't understand the plot, what hope do we have? I can certainly feel Capshaw's confusion here with this series too.
I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Now, the speech is supposed to rally the troops, but instead, we're treated to analogies like an alphabet soup factory exploding, which might win the award for cringiest metaphor in comics this month. And when she ends with, "We matter, damn it, regular people matter," I rolled my eyes so hard that I almost pulled a muscle.
Oh, brother.
And thankfully, the story quickly shifts to the Bob satellite and away from this stupid speech, where Flamingo is busy torching everything in sight, including Capshaw's stupid GATE banner. Take that, GATE! This is one of the few times in the issue where the visuals shine as well. Flamingo's firepower looks vibrant and chaotic. But unfortunately, her Doctor Who references on page number 2 sends the cringe meter off the charts and makes me instantly hate this comic. Then Ivar steps in, blasting Flamingo with a Derringer laser pistol. And that's just as stupid as it sounds, saving Capshaw from becoming human barbecue, but her arm still gets scorched. No worries though, Ivar has all the solutions, and he pulls out some synthetic skin from the 28th century because why not? This moment is a prime example of why the story feels so disjointed. Cool sci-fi elements are just tossed into the story haphazardly, and it makes one extremely convenient narrative beat after another. And next up we have Kay McHenry, who uses her geomancer powers to subdue Ivar by, get this, manipulating the plant-based fibers in the sleeping quarters sheets of the satellite. Yes, you heard that right, the sheets aboard the Bob. This might be the most non-threatening use of superpowers ever in comics history.
Oh no, now I'm scared. Ooh.
And then things start to escalate as Gillid takes a swing at Ivar with his battle axe, only for Armstrong to jump in the way. Now Gillid, making the weakest excuse ever, says he was just trying to scare Ivar with the axe. Now any true Valiant fan would know that these brothers are thousands of years old and immortal. But yeah, an axe is all it takes to take down Ivar. Yeah, seems legit. And surprise, Armstrong has lost his immortality. And you would know that if you read the last Archer and Armstrong series, but I understand why you didn't. While this should have been a jaw-dropping moment, the rushed pacing turns it into a complete afterthought.
This is a damn shame!
And meanwhile, in the faraway, we catch up with Archer, Mary Maria, and not one but two Tamas, the young one and the old one, staking out a castle. They're up against the rejects of the Ninja program, who are about as threatening as Paul Blart. And then Archer dives into the fray, effortlessly dispatching each of them in a few panels, making what could have been a tense battle feel like a dud, and really pointless. I mean, why were these guys there in the first place if they were going to get taken out in one page? Who really knows? And then Vexana makes her grand entrance, wielding a Buster Sword straight out of Final Fantasy VII. She declares herself the Warmonger, and she radiates power and menace. The art here by Guillermo Fajardo is great, capturing her imposing presence and... Wait, is that Ginger in the background?
Mild shock.
Then I turn the page, I look down, and who do you think I see? Faith. Well, at least it took her 10 pages to show up this time. I mean, that's gotta be a new record. And Faith is joined by Livewire, who spends most of her time telling Faith to stop being annoying, which might make Livewire my second most favorite character in this issue. More on that in a bit. And the group's next stop is, of course, the Smithsonian, where they're tasked with stealing a spaceship that's hidden in plain sight. Yeah, okay. And Quantum and Woody get to flex their powers here by tossing a security guard into the building. But honestly, this feels less like superhero work and more like a Saturday morning cartoon at this point. And now, we're getting to the good stuff, I promise. One of the highlights of this issue comes next as we cut to Master Dark and Baron Samedi.
Yeah, boy.
In this scene, Punk Mambo is revealed to have been disguising herself as Baron Samedi, and Master Dark wastes no time stabbing her to death for that fact. It's a genuinely satisfying moment, especially for fans who find Punk Mambo as insufferable as I do. Awesome job, Master Dark, and that's why you're my favorite character in this issue.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And now we're back on the Bob satellite, where tensions are rising when a fight breaks out between Rye and Bloodshot. I mean, this is a Valiant fan's dream matchup here. Too bad though, Valiant and Alien books are going to ruin it, so we have to watch it on the monitors in the security personnel room, which feels like a missed opportunity for some dynamic action scenes. And then the security personnel are so upset because of this fact that they draw guns on each other. Good job, Valiant. Good job.
Yeah, right.
And while all this other stuff is going on, ARIC finally tracks down Divinity, who's literally just sitting on a rock in the middle of outer space thinking, I guess. Now, ARIC the Exo Man-O-War confronts him, but their interaction is disappointingly brief and lasts only a few pages. When ARIC accuses Divinity of destroying planets, Divinity responds by growing really big and scrambling ARIC's brain and the Exo armor like a cosmic Gordon Ramsay. And the final act of this comic brings us back to Chris, the teenager who was shot in the previous issue. Dr. Silk pays him a visit, spinning a web of manipulation as he tries to recruit Chris for his plans. But the creepy undertones here of Silk's dialogue adds a layer of unease, especially when he talks about planting his seed in Chris and watching it bloom.
Ha! Gay!
Now, that would be the single most disgusting thing in this section of the comic, but then you have Julio Azamor's art. I mean, it's just awful. As the comic wraps up, Capshaw discovers that the entire Bob satellite operations crew has killed each other because they had an argument over Dr. Silk. I mean, that's just dumb. There's also a fight between Ninjak and Eidolon aboard the Bob, but it's just too boring to discuss.
Oh, thank God, I was getting bored.
And then, while looking at the reader with the creepiest facial expression ever, she makes her stupidest move yet. She triggers the satellite's self-destruct sequence because she's never met a superhero before. Yeah, that makes sense.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Lastly, the explosion is witnessed by Chris and Dr. Silk on the ground. And then Dr. Silk ominously tells Chris to make a wish. Now, I don't know about Chris's wish, but my wish would be faith on the Bob when it exploded. But unfortunately, I never get my way. Thanks, Valiant. So Resurgence of the Valiant Universe issue number 3 continues the trend of chaotic pacing and head-scratching writing. While there are glimpses of what could have been, a compelling villain here, a visually striking moment there, the story is ultimately weighed down by its disjointed narrative and lack of focus. Still, if you're a diehard Valiant fan, there's enough here to keep you mildly entertained, just maybe keep your expectations in check. So that wraps up my review of Resurgence of the Valiant Universe issue number 3. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop your thoughts on this issue in the comments below. What worked? What didn't? And who else thinks Capshaw is officially the worst strategist in the Valiant Universe? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.